And now, the tale of my longest living, possibly hardest hitting, definitely second worst suffering player character. This is the tale of Sir Manuel, questing knight, emancipator, excommunicate, and cow enthusiast. Now this was one of the many characters that I made for my friend's Warhammer Fantasy homebrew game famously known as Billyhammer. And when I conceived of Manuel, I was reading a lot of Black history, watching a lot of blaxploitation movies, and reading a bunch of Shakespeare. So he's definitely an amalgam character, and it's fair to say that his DNA has got some heavy doses of Othello, Black Dynamite, Nat Turner, and Yasuke. I bet no one on that list is controversial for any reason right now. Born Mandla, a young hunter stolen by pirates robbing his homeland and pressed into service as a slave soldier, he fought against his former captors, liberated himself, was given shelter by good folk of the cloth, took the name Manuel, and served as a squire to a godly knight and battle brother before taking up the hammer to wander his newfound home. Manuel was very much a stranger in a strange land, but he was impossibly strong, capable, eloquent, honourable. He had a head for languages. I even gave him a special buff that let him make a great first impression. At the start of his adventuring career, he was ready to put all adversity past him, and it all went to hell when he picked up a dagger. During his second adventure, after fighting near some windmills, Manuel meets a somewhat skeletal figure lying in a pond who distributes a bronze arming dagger that was once held by Manuel's god, the hero king turned hero deity Sigmar. In an oracular vision, it is revealed that this dagger once belonged to Sigmar and pierced the thigh of the living man during a melee with a writhing abomination, thus betraying him. And it was cast aside where it sat slowly influencing the area around it until Manuel picked it up. My GM looked at my 2-session old character and decided you get to be the one that carries the in-game equivalent of the Lance of Longinus. This holy relic, the Betrayer, is his god's own dagger, coated in his god's own blood, and he cannot relinquish it until he has completed an as yet unspecified quest. And when he draws it, it sends out a seek and destroy message to any demons, angels, or particularly zealotous Sigmarites in the vicinity, who, I might add, make up the majority of religion in this game setting. Within 2 games of picking up the Betrayer, and after being bodied by an angelically possessed knight, Manuel has been formally excommunicated from the faith, exiled from the holy city of Altdorf, and declared anathema to the gods. In a later adventure, while battling a wraith, he loses the use of his left hand, leaving it paralyzed except to draw the Betrayer. At which point people get to see a 6'6", 240-pound Manuel fly into a berserker state while wielding a great hammer in one hand. It is the fact that this adversity has honed Manuel into a killing machine and not his dark complexion that earned him his famous epithet, Manuel the Black. Does he lament this fate? Has he been humbled? Of course. But has it broken him? Will he ever just give up? Fuck no! Manuel has decided that this is his holy quest. If it is his lot to bear the Betrayer, then it must be his fate to walk the path of Sigmar the living man, prove himself in battle, and earn the loyalty of many warriors. Manuel has defeated multiple demons, undead, and other nasties in single, often brutal combat. He's protected peasants, liberated slaves, single-handedly defended a dwarven hole from a riot, and was awarded with a custom engraved black and gold set of full plate with matching hammer, and has travelled to and from the lands of the dead to stand in the very footsteps of his god. What is Manuel's knightly estate? What has he done with the wealth and spoils of victory that he's undoubtedly earned over his storied career? Well, after a tense conversation at a fireplace one night, he bought a farm, a house, lots of cows, and then spent the rest on his wife and former squire Brunhilde. She's a character I've just started playing and has a story in her own right, but I keep playing Manuel because even at this point in his story, in a war-torn setting with all of the odds stacked against him, the only ending that could possibly be coming for him being a bloody one, he remains optimistic. The only thing that this man thinks of or talks about is his wife, building a better future for his kids, maybe hosting a do-over wedding ceremony, and reversing his exile so that they can all pray in the holy city together. And when other knights scoff at him as they toss down the gauntlet, vomit their titles, and ask the limp-armed foreigner to declare himself, he stands, holds his hammer aloft, smiles, and says, "I am Manuel." Hope you enjoyed the story, troops. Thanks for sticking around. Special thanks to my Mythic and Sandwich tier patrons Dugrin and Griffin Provenzano for help keeping the shed up and running. And an extra special thank you to my early backers Ryan Henderson, Winterslade, D Sparrow, Googrin, Watchful Spirit, Harrison Pollen, Gunnar, Computer Coder, Patchwork Wizard, Zeb Pickering Polstra, William Ferrari, Isaac Davies, Sashot Mac, Andrew Davis, Lemon Planter, Sora Mayura Yukino, Displacer Cat Shi, Zynorax, Gabriel Shepherd, Harry 1863, Anthony Williams, Kay Burnett, Peter Allen, Michael Douglas, Jordan S., Aaron Grover, Wanna Trip Baby, Damian Lane, Carl Lilia, Righteous Steak, Thomas O'Neill, Joshua Smith, Jenny Size, Matthew, and Evan Haggard. Cheers for sticking around to the end, and thanks so much for all of your love and support.